We have a confession. We may
or may not
be wearing pants.
You'll never know if you don't watch the YouTube. Hi, I'm Cybil Solon. I'm an esthetician and spa owner.
And hi, I'm Alex Ellis, and I'm a body nerd and wellness expert, and we are business besties.
And bosses. Running your own business, it's hard.
But we're terrible employees, so we're figuring it out.
I've already figured it out, but we promise to show you everything we know about running a 6-figure business.
And be brutally honest about what works and what totally sucks.
I'm going to be totally honest. It's really sucky, but and what we're talking about today is very sucky, but we're going to tell you everything. Let's get started.
So much suckery.
Oh my God, so much suckery we just talked about.
Welcome back to Skinfessional. On today's show, we are talking about the suck, but mostly about how what's going on in the world really does matter in your business. How to sift through the noise, because we both know, and you know, there's so much noise right now.
Yeah.
But to figure out what's actually relevant to your business.
And we're going to tell you about the things you can do to subtly shift to make your business better, to help with client care and services so that you're going to make more money, even during the suckage of all that's happening.
Yeah, and if you're still like, suckage, what's happening? Well, it's February 28th. I'm just going to put it out there. Now you know when we record this. 2020, coronavirus is in full swing.
Yep.
Election year is in full swing.
Yep. It's crazy time.
And I'm tired.
The Dow just dropped 1,000 points.
Today?
Yeah, dropped 1,000 points. See, we didn't talk about that yet.
No.
Dropped 1,000 points. People be freaking out.
And what you're going to find out in this episode is that I don't watch a lot of news. Well, here, let me start this off, too, because I know I consciously and deliberately make friends with people who do watch the news, who help keep me informed, like you, my dear friend.
Well, that's funny, because I actually don't watch the news, but I pay attention to the markets.
Right.
Yeah.
So we will have to put one of our codes in the show notes for this episode, but a daily newsletter that I read is called The SKIMM.
We love The SKIMM.
Love The SKIMM. And it's just so helpful to read the news and hear it in my own voice versus watching videos.
And have it in bite-sized, understandable amounts.
Just watch the story. Don't watch CNN for 16 hours straight.
Right.
So I'm just going to, disclaimer at the top, for those of you who are more empathetic isn't the word. I'm a highly sensitive person, so I'm just very mindful.
We're just going to put trigger warnings out there already. If you're oh my God, I don't know if I can deal with life right now. We're going to be talking about life, but quite frankly, if you're a business owner, you deal with life, and that's what this episode's about, because it is about dealing with the stuff that makes up life, because you have to be ready for it for your business.
Yeah.
Right? If you are kind of walking around with blinders on, you do not know what's happening, and you're not prepared for your business. And then one day you look at your books and you're like, why am I not making money right now? Mm-hmm. And the reason is because you were not prepared. You were not paying attention to what was going on in the world. And the world highly affects your clients, which then affects your paycheck and your business.
Yeah. And as we were talking before we started recording, what I think is most interesting about your insight is that you have been in business for such a long time doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I've been in the wellness industry and fitness for 10 years, but I did a little bit of that, a little bit. So I don't have the same rich data that you do from being in this for the time that you have. So her insight will be super valuable. And also, I just had this light bulb moment. I'm aware of news and what's happening and this and that, but the context, and I think that's a big thing, is having context around how this affects you and your business. It's not just a news story, it's doubt that's planted in somebody's mind. It's worrying about going out in public, and now that's what your clients are thinking about. That's what they're carrying in with them when they walk through your doors.
Right. Also, there's historic thing. You're talking about historic data. When I first went into business, there were certain things that I was told that people would be like, so I was told, listen, this is when it's going to be slow times and whatever. And I didn't find that to be true. But there were certain things I was told that they're like, listen, election years are hard. and this is an election year. And I 100% found that to be true. As I continued doing research, I was like, man, they're exceptionally hard, but I wanted to know the reason.
Yeah.
And so I did all the research on why it is hard and like the ways to work around that. Because there are ways, if you plan for these times, you can then find ways to make it easier on your business. Now, things like the coronavirus, you're like, listen, there's no planning for that. You're just like, I don't know who planned for a weird plague that's like freaking people out. But it's no different.
So awful.
Right? But it's no different than being like, there's a bad flu going around that's still like making my clients ill and people are dropping off my book.
Well, and everyone who coughs, you're like... You can't see me. I'm literally recoiling.
Right.
From her.
And
She's been coughing.
I have a pretty bad.
When this video comes out, just know it was her.
It was me. I had a very bad flu a few weeks ago, and literally everybody's like, "Do you have the coronavirus?" Because it's when it came out, and I was like,
"Oh yeah, it was about the same time."
Yeah. Apparently, if I did, I'm still harboring it, and it's sticking around.
Also, though, you haven't been to China.
No. Speaking of the cough is still hanging out, but everything else is fine.
Somebody else posted about that, though, so whatever.
Yeah, no, I have this cough apparently is just chillaxing.
So if ever you were wondering why I work from home and use technology to separate me from my clients, this is why.
Totally. It's 100% true.
I am a hermit crab.
It is true.
There's also been some other interesting, speaking of the markets, I know I read this in the SKIMM this week about Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, which also, by the way, just Google what companies Disney owns. They literally own everything you're watching and consuming.
They own everything. They own pretty much your life and you don't know it.
Yeah. I saw it was on Pinterest. And I was just like, holy guacamole. So Bob Iger just stepped down. I know his departure is not quite as notable because he was trying to step away. And they're like, no. Like, we're going to buy Fox. And wait, we're going to do Disney Plus. Like, please stay.
He's been trying to leave for a little bit.
Yeah. But how many other CEOs have stepped down?
So CEOs that have stepped down this year is 219. That is just this year.
Just 2020.
Just 2020.
Fiscal year or calendar year?
Calendar year.
Holy schmoly.
So guys, we are in February. 219.
There haven't even been 219 days.
No, 219 CEOs have left the building, guys.
Wow.
Okay, so I'm going to go back in time a little bit too. So last year, over 400 CEOs left. Okay, so now I'm going to give you some statistics real quick. So most CEOs last about 5 years. All right. And that's just CEOs. It's a hard job. It's like a presidency. It's a hard gig. People think that they're just chillaxing and kicking back and taking their Mai Tais and
wiping their dollars with wiping their butts with $100 bills,
right? But it's actually a pretty hard gig, right? It is a pretty hard gig. So understand that most CEOs, they only last a short amount of time and they kind of burn out and then they leave. So it could be that if it was their time to go. Also, at about that time, we had like the Me Too movement was going on. So potentially people could have just been leaving because people were looking at them side eye, being like, sex scandal could be happening to you. But I mean, some of these were women.
Actually,
But some of these were women and stuff. But you take a look at that, and then you take a look at this year as well, and how many people have already stepped down. And some of these are very large CEOs. So they are ones like Keith Block, who's from Salesforce, and we have the Uber dude stepped down, but he was a jerk.
Well, I think also a lot of people got taken down, which I don't think is really the right term, but like you're saying, they were like, they've either already come for
guy
me.
left.
Well, also they know they're coming for them, or they already have come from them. And I think, as far as changing the guard,
eBay left.
It was time.
Right? So, I mean, there were a bunch of people who, like I said, it could have been other reasons. But when you look at stuff like that, it also can be that it's the changing of the guard could be because those particular CEOs looked at the data that was coming down kind of the networking force, and they looked down and they were like, I'm looking at my books here and I gotta cash out now. I know something that y'all don't, and I need to take my money and run. We are about to have a crash in the economy. Now, I'm not saying that we are, but when you see CEOs kind of like taking an exit strategy, and this many of them, a lot of times you have to kind of look around and be like, if they're walking out, I need to think about the fact of they know something we don't know that might be coming down. So I keep in mind that, and I start making plans for my business knowing, listen, it's very possible that we are coming in a downturn in the economy, because this is the kind of stuff that happened the last time we had a downturn in the economy. bunch of CEOs were like, see ya. I saw it on my books and I left.
Right. Now, 2008, when we had the last downturn, I know you mentioned you saw it coming.
Yeah.
So, like, did you prepare or what would you do differently, like, now?
Right. So I saw it coming, and I will tell people I saw it coming because I actually felt it in my office. So, like, I noticed that my clients they were just more hesitant to come in. I started noticing the market, like, people, like, stuff was going on in the market, which was making people uncomfortable. And I noticed that I have a lot of very high profile clients. And I noticed that a lot of them were like leaving their jobs, moving on to stuff, taking vacations. Like, I just saw that. And I was like, something weird is happening. I remember going to my boyfriend and being like, something weird is happening. And he's like, weird what? And at the time, I never experienced it before. I'm like, I don't know, but something weird is going on. And I'm like, my books are looking weird and like people are canceling and I don't really know what to do. So, I mean, I think I need to do something different with my schedule. And he's like what? I'm like, I'm not 100% sure. So what would I do different? Because at the time, I had no idea what to do.
Right.
Now what I would do is I'd go back to Cybil then. I'd be like, girlfriend, what you need to do is you 100% need to reach out to those clients and be like, hi, what's going on?
What a novel idea. Just asking them what's
Straight up. Hi, what's going on? What's happening? I notice that, you're canceling off my schedule. I notice it's, maybe you can't talk to me specifically about what's happening, but like what's going on? Is like something going on with, your life? And you know what? I've had it happen before. So right before there was like, we had a kind of like a mini, it wasn't a writer strike, but we had a teacher strike. Remember the big teacher strike we had? Mm-hmm. Before the strike was happening, there was murmurings about it.
Yeah, for a while.
Right?
Yeah.
And so one of my clients is actually a person who's in charge of that. And I had gone to her and I was like, there's all this stuff happening, what's going on? And she's like, it looks like we're actually going to be striking. And I have clients who are teachers. And I was like, oh. I was like, okay then. So I should be preparing because you guys are all like battening down the hatches and preparing to not have money and jobs.
Right.
And she's like, yeah. And so I actually started pivoting my business. I actually started creating packages for my clients to prepay for them in advance. And I actually created out of work packages so that they were like discounted for them to get them through that time. But that way I'm still making money I'm still making money. But they were prepaid, so they didn't have to worry about it if they were already out of work, and they were already pre-discounted for that time. And I just was like, if for any reason you end up going on strike, because it looks like you're going to, these are prepaid. You get them at this price. They're prepaid now for the assumption that you're going to be on strike. And even if you're not, you get a discount.
And you reached out to all of those individual clients and offered them that.
Once again, a lot of times when you're thinking about how you're handling like an election year, a virus, a specific set of clientele. So much of getting through a problem in your business is reaching out specifically to that set of clients. And I've talked about this before. You want to cater to a specific set of clientele that you might be having a problem with, right? So it's really very specific. It's laser focused to that set of clients. So I had a writer's strike. And how I knew how to do this is I have also had a writer's strike and I lost half of my business.
Yeah. So if you don't know contextually, in Los Angeles, especially in Burbank, if you aren't someone in the industry, you know at least 5 people who are in the industry. So when the writers went on strike, that's literally like half of everybody you know is out of a job.
Right, because just because the writers aren't working, if the writers don't work, like the camera people, everybody's not working. Yeah. The camera people, the script doctors, the people who are props,
costumes,
do the actors,
hair,
the actors, the hair, everyone,
editor, like a lot of people are out of work.
Half of my clients and most of them never came back.
It was a long strike.
Yeah, it was a long strike. And like all of my CBS clients never returned. And I had a huge batch of CBS clients. Like it just like scorched the earth of my business. I never recovered from that. Like I had to get a whole new set of clientele over a 2-year period. And I remember looking at that and being like, okay, remember what this is like.
Right. When it was coming and.
Right. And remember what this is like. Because I mean, we kind of knew this writer strike was coming. We understood. But
they talked about it for a long time.
I did not understand what it was going to do to my business to have a strike. So I knew when the teacher strike was going to happen, prepare. go reach out to these people. Make sure that they stay with you. Make sure you've kept them happy through the strike so that they are still your clients. Because once people kind of fall off your book,
It's harder to get them back.
it's harder to get them back. 100%.
It's so true.
It's once they're gone, you're no longer part of your family. They're out of a habit.
Yeah.
They've lived without you. And they aren't working, potentially.
Yeah.
You know? Hey, I just want to say thanks so much for watching. I hope that you're liking our content. If you are, if you could just hit subscribe and maybe smash a like button because, it really helps us continue with this channel. Also, if you really are enjoying it, because we're really trying to put out great content for you, you could also just ring that little bell that's around there somewhere because we are absolutely going to continue to put out great content like this, and I would hate for you to miss any of it. So thanks again for watching.
Well, and another thing to consider too is just like the state of the world right now, as far as like stress levels and uncertainty levels. And you were asking me too about like what are people trying to buy? And I have been buying vitamins and books off Amazon because I want to hunker down home and be real healthy.
Right. So during election season specifically, so statistic is that you will drop 56%. That is a huge number. That's more than half of your sales and services in an election year by the end of it. And the reason why is because people are so stressed and they're scared and they don't know what's happening, that they will stop going out. They will start hoarding their money to themselves, and they just don't want to talk to people. And talking to you counts as people. Driving in their car to you is horrible. They have to listen to the news. They might have to see somebody. And just dealing with stuff is too complicated. So what they will do, though, is they want to buy things that are nurturing to them, right? So they want to encompass themselves. So it's not that they don't have money, but they only want to spend money on things that are nurturing and about their home. So they'll buy a Roomba. Examples are always Roombas, by the way. And my friend Lisanne's I just bought a Roomba. And I was like, did you?
Have you seen the scuba?
Yes.
I want a scuba.
I know.
I can't justify, literally my apartment is 800 square feet and only 1/16 of that is not carpet.
I know. But my friend Lisanne was just I just bought a Roomba. And I was like, did you, girl? I'm like, it's election season.
And you're like, noted.
Yeah, Roomba's we're making money cha-ching. So when you're creating for election year, you want to start creating packages to work on making people feel nurtured and loved. So don't be I want to sell you a bunch of microneedling, microchanneling, all the things that hurt and are painful.
Vampire facial.
Right. All the things that you really want to think about. I want to get you on my bed, and it's all about nurturing love. What are the words we're going to use?
Relax, rejuvenation. Actually, yeah, today.
Soothing.
Oh my God, I'm actually realizing how subconsciously I was doing this today. So I'm running a retreat and I was talking don't you want something that you can look forward to that is going to nourish you and relax you? I got your message telepathically.
Or this is what you want.
Right.
And so you're this is what everybody else wants too. So what are you looking for? You're stressed out right now. What are you looking for? You've been getting all the stupid ads and robocalls and whatever, Don't you want an hour to where the phone is off and you're left alone?
No text messages.
No text messages. You don't care about what's happening outside in the world. In this room, it's quiet. The spa music is on and you're getting a massage and looking beautiful and bright when you go home and feeling amazing while you're nurtured and loved.
I feel really dialing into that rejuvenation and giving people all of the words of let me help you fill your cup up because the universe is trying to suck you dry.
Right. And that's what you're looking to do for them. Those are the things that you're pulling together for them. And then all of the products that you're trying to bring in, if you're a boutique, are things that smell lovely. Right?
I know. I was oh yeah, I am on board. I am the world's best consumer.
They just smell lovely.
We love this.
They just smell good.
Smells so good.
They feel nice. It's all about that.
God.
So that's all we're doing. It's not about peeling and burning and scrubbing. It's just about making people feel really, really good.
Well, and also on a physiological level, let's get nerdy here.
Right, let's do it.
So and when I say you, I'm saying, the general you. You're listening to things that are stressing you out. You are stressed out because of uncertainty. And so all of those stress hormones, like the cortisol and all of that, are pumping through your body all the time. And so any treatments that are going to require that inflammation response as part of the healing, like their bodies are already taxed. So again, part of the rejuvenation is like, let me just create a quiet recovery space for your nervous system so your body can just get closer to baseline, not back to baseline, but let me just give you something to bring you a little bit down, because the minute you walk out this door, you are right back up.
It's why I created a sound bath facial. It's why I created the nap time facial. It's why I created a menu of services, and I created mini services that were on special for just that time because they were less expensive. And I love pricey facials. I love them. For the election year, I created smaller facials, still just as long, but they didn't cost me very much in product. So they were 45, 50 minutes instead of my usual 90-minute facials that were just really about relaxation. And it was about keeping people down-regulated, keeping them downtime. And they literally just napped on the bed for 20 minutes. And I went out and did stuff because people just wanted time. I mean, talk to me about your breath work. What is it about for you?
It's about creating the quiet, like you're saying, like you are super active and you can't, it shuts your brain off because you're so focused on this intentional breathing for a period of time that when you're done, it's quiet.
I've been working on trying to make a breathwork facial. I'm working on it, guys. I haven't gotten there yet, but I am working on it, right? Because it's about that. So if you do yoga, what do you love about the yoga? Everybody loves that last little bit where you're just sleeping at the very end. You're just relaxing.
You're not supposed to be sleeping, but
you all do. You all do.
You do. Yeah.
In the background, you know that's you.
Yes. It's totally me.
So think about the ways you can you don't have to completely alter your menu, but maybe make specialty menu items just for that year. And you can call it your election year facials or, specials that you're just for that time or whatever you're going to do. Think about it, what you're going to do for just that space. Okay.
So we're thinking of, really down regulation and soothing and all of those things. But what about, I'm thinking because coronavirus is so top of mind. What are you thinking about that since this is pretty novel?
So the coronavirus is something that, here I think that it's mostly for people just very stressful. I know for me, I started right now because I'm so coughing, I did start wearing a hardcore mask. So just making people feel safe, making sure you're really washing your hands. I wear gloves for all of my facials. If you don't, maybe one of the things that make people feel safe, you make sure you're taking pictures with yourself on social with your mask on, your gloves on. Make sure people are really feeling safe. Make sure you keep your antibacterials and all those out so people know that that's what you're doing. You're really cleaning. Social media, making sure wiping down my surfaces. No coronavirus here.
Yeah, I just got an email before we started from the boss of the gym chain I work out saying, we're disinfecting 3 times a day now instead of just once.
Right. So people really know what's happening. You can even keep the set of wipes out so people can wipe their stuff down themselves so they can feel really empowered. Empowering other people can really help. People like to feel I wipe my own crap down. That's great. I'd love to hear from you if you have any ideas, but that's what I would make sure that I did, just because as people start feeling really heightened about it and just really getting the message out to other people, that is something you do. If you have a newsletter, put it out there with pictures of that's what we're doing. I want to make sure everybody feels really safe. It's important for me too.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a really good note.
Good question.
I think, all of this is just talk to your people.
Yeah, it really is. Reach out to your people. I ask my clients lots of questions. What are you worried about? Talk to me. And you can always ask them. So I've been concerned for my clients. I want to make sure you all feel safe. This is what I'm doing. Do you have any additional suggestions? And so I always say, this is what I'm doing. Do you have any additional suggestions? Because that way you're telling them what you're doing. So they're those are good ideas. But you'd be surprised where people come back with ideas. You're that's a really good idea.
Never thought of that one.
Right? And then you can send out another email to people and be thanks so much for the ideas. I want to thank Beth for, suggesting blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and then they feel special.
Yeah, they feel so special. And you're that's the best. Joanna told me this,
Yeah, and so what about I think again, this uncertainty of an election year
Yeah.
is that people stop spending money because they kind of like nobody knows what's happening or which way it's going to go. Also, a feeling of just like, oh, just throw it in the towel. So how do you navigate around that?
So, I mean, the best way to navigate around that is, well, first of all, when people come in, do not talk about the election. Do not talk about any of it. And it is hard because people will try to talk to you about it. Your job is to redirect the question or the conversation to something else. So, Alex, come in, talk to me about the election.
Oh my God, did you watch the debate last night?
You know what? I did. But you know what? I also was playing with my cat, and my cat is blah, 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 blah.
Oh my gosh, does your cat still like its running wheel?
It totally does. Redirect the question. Or I totally didn't, but it's because I was really busy looking at my vacation in Honolulu. Have you been to Honolulu?
Oh my gosh, no.
Right? Try to redirect. Sometimes they're going to really try to focus in on it. Like, it's so important. I'm so stressed out. And sometimes you do need to let them kind of like
vent it out
because they don't have anybody else to talk to.
Yeah.
Give them the maximum of 5 minutes. 5 minutes is all they get.
That is so interesting. I have clients, I do a duo, and we spend the first maybe 10 minutes upright and they're facing one another and they're just talking about all of this awful stuff. And I'm like, let's continue down to the floor. They're on the floor, they're relaxing because that's what happens physiologically, and they're no longer looking at one another, and then we stop talking about it.
Yes. So, it's one of those things, and there are tips and tricks to like getting people to like quiet, just bring it down. But usually you can get them to stop talking about it. You can, like I said, constantly try to redirect, put the iPads on. If you want to learn how to like do down regulation, we got lots of tips and tricks. Create a whole facial for it. So there are ways to get them to like get that monkey brain to turn off and get them to sleep on that bed.
Let me give you like one little tip right now.
You do it.
I was thinking about it. So it works because you shut them up. God bless your clients, but sometimes you need them to stop talking. So breath work, like we've been talking about, is a great way to relax your body. And really focusing on the exhale can help. So one thing I'll do if I'm in a big room or a big group of people and they won't stop talking, but this can also work when it's just you and a client. So maybe you say something like, hey, I want to try this new technique. Can I guide you through some breath work? You might have to interrupt them to say that. And if they say yes, have them take a big breath in. Hold their breath for about 2-3 beats, and then a nice, slow, long exhale. If you have them do that about 3, maybe 4 times, literally physiologically, they will start to relax, and that heightened state of like, all this stuff will have shifted. So I would say that might be a good place to start. Like, let me try this new technique on you. Are you open to it?
Totally.
And then make their bodies be quiet when their mouths will not.
It's true. The other trick is, and it's very much like that, if you breathe, remember, you're right over them, right? If you breathe deeply, they will eventually follow. Their lizard brain can't help it.
Mirror neurons. Yeah, that's actually, it's the same thing of like when you're having a conversation with someone, you map them.
Please don't breathe on them. It really pisses me off when I'm like sitting on a bed and they breathe on me. I have to be like, stop breathing on me. I don't know how many estheticians I'm trained to like, don't breathe on me. So their head is here. You're going to breathe to the side.
For those of you who are listening, turn your head to the side.
You're going to breathe to the side, okay? Please do not breathe onto the person. It's fucking disgusting. Makes me crazy.
Crazy bananas?
Crazy bananas.
I've never thought of that, but you're like right up in their face.
Right up in their face. Estheticians will breathe on you all the time. Massage therapists do it too.
Is there like a trigger point or something?
Yeah,
in the neck too?
Well, you can do the occipitals. If you hold their occipitals, their monkey brain will immediately shut off.
Ooh, with a little traction.
Yeah, a little traction, monkey brain and traction. Also, if you start rubbing their ears.
Oh.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I got a whole list. Actually, I have a whole list.
Just the thought of that, I was like, oh.
I actually have a whole list.
Oh, what else we got in there?
Oh, no, we're not giving this one away.
Oh, okay.
We're not, but this is the whole list.
It's coming later.
Yeah, this is the whole list.
Maybe we'll offer it to you in a download. Maybe.
That's the whole list that I have.
I just feel like we discovered a secret about you that you just told us we can't have, and now I want it. I want to know what's on.
Well, I'm teaching the class this weekend.
There we go. There's the plug.
I'm beta testing the class this weekend on a bunch of people who are flying in. So I'll tell you how that goes.
Stay tuned.
If you want the class, ask me. So there we go. But those are good. Those are great techniques that you can, to get their little brains to shut down. Shh.
And just think for you too, like what things help you relax?
Yeah, what makes you happy?
Do you ever like rub people's scalps, or are they weird about? Okay, because I would say that's one where I'm just like, oh my god, I just like melt into a puddle.
This is like, look at all this.
No, put this away because I'm gonna want to talk about it.
You have a whole section. I mean, you have a whole section on like. I learned a bunch of stuff from you, so.
Yes. We're talking physiology. I think that's
physiology.
The other thing. Like lizards and babies. Like what would make a baby stop crying, and do that to your client and help them find the relaxation that they aren't able to do for themselves. Like we were talking about this before we started as well. I mindfully consume media, and I'm paying attention to how my nervous system is relaxing. And I'm also doing something every single day to mitigate the stress of being a human in the modern world. Your clients probably are not doing that. You might not be doing that. And so we just have to help them feel what it could feel like to be relaxed, because the world is never going to give you that opportunity.
That brings up a really good point. You also have to remember as your esthetician that you need to not be stressing out your client. So you are not going to be talking about, the how enraged you are about whatever. You are not going to be talking about how your daughter is on drugs. You are going to leave that all at the door. Once again, esthetician Cybil is going to be in this room, happy face, happy mind, as nice as possible. You are going to be your extra self, right? You are only going to be talking about pleasant things to the best of your ability, right? Now, like if you have some really crappy stuff happen in your life, you are still going to be mindful, and you can be like, hey, I have some stuff going on today, but I'm still going to give you the best treatment I can. I don't want to talk to you. I want this to be about you, but just so you know, I'm having some stuff going on. So if I'm not perfect today, just know that that's why. Because I've learned not to lie to my clients about things because they can totally tell. But your job in this, when you're in your room, is to give that client that space.
Serve your client.
That's right. So it's not about you. Shh, be quiet.
No, but I thought it was.
Right. The other thing I want to talk about is creating customer loyalty programs at this point. I'm not a huge fan of doing like loyalty programs and everything, but if you're going to implement them, like if you ever wanted to try one, or if you have one and you've kind of been like, I barely use it, or you've you're dusting one off or whatever, now is the time. That is the time. Election years, when stuff is going crazy with coronavirus and stuff, that's the time to pull one out, because keeping loyalty is what you're trying to do. You have missing clients or whatever, dialing for dollars. This is when you start sending out those customer cards. You start to get up that email program. You need to really be digging into those clients. Your existing clients are the people you're trying to keep. Trying to seek new clients right now is the hardest thing to do. Keeping existing clients is much easier, because Alex is a good existing client. Me trying to find Joe Schmo down the street, he doesn't know me at all, and he's already stressed out about life, right? Once again, we have a whole episode about how I'm crazy about when you try to get rid of old clients and don't take good care of them, right?
I'm just sitting here actually, I was going to go look for new clients. Oh my God, what's going to happen?
Well, I'd like to know how it goes. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's hard to look for new clients in the years where people are kind of hunkering down, holding their cash and putting it under their mattress. But we just talked about with you, especially. So if you're out there and you're like, I do a job where, I work with people who inherently are going out into the public, like gyms and stuff. Maybe someone like you, they're not going to, because they're like, I'm now seeking something where I'm not in the public because the coronavirus is scaring the hell out of me.
Yeah. So I mean, this is my prediction for 2020. Because already the digital space, like Peloton, right? They are blowing up. And so I think people are possibly going to be looking for more things that they can get from home and staying home, because it feels like the safer option.
Also, we did talk about how nurturing, people don't want to leave their home. They're like, I want to just hunker down in my home and I feel safe at home and I like my home and I don't mind spending money at home. Right? So it's very possible.
This is why Amazon exists.
Right? But if you own a spa or a salon, or you're a therapist, because I have therapists who are watching us now, and because they're solo practices. So if you're a therapist and you're like, I wanted to go out and get some new clients, you might have a little more trouble, because you're hitting the pavement and trying to get people to come to you.
What do you think about like a friend loyalty, like sharing. I can't think of the word for it right now.
Referral.
Yeah.
A referral. I don't know. Referrals might work out. So there are a couple good ways. We should have a whole episode maybe on referrals or a section on referrals. So good ways that I found that work for referrals are...
But like in the context of this stressful time?
Good ways for stressful times like this. I mean, referral systems are referral systems are referral systems. I found good ways for referrals in stressful times or any time really, because referrals. I would make sure that make sure you really are paying attention to your online, like Yelp, Google, stuff. I call that refer a stranger game. So just make sure that you're like going to your people and being like, hey, have you written me a review on Yelp? Do you have a Google review? Have you done that for me? Thank you. And then I would make sure that if you are looking at sending somebody like little cards to be like, hey, if you're passing these out to people, I'll give you 50% off or whatever you're doing. You can see how that goes. I have always hated referrals.
Yeah, so I'm sensing some hesitance.
I do not like your referrals. Like in general, I don't like referrals. It's really hard for me to talk about referrals because I in general hate referrals. 3 referral systems that I think are good. You refer me a stranger by leaving me a review. I really appreciate that. And then what happens is you come in and I say, hey, I noticed that you left me a review somewhere. And so I saw that you left me a review because I got an email saying so-and-so has left you a review. I didn't read it because I don't like reading them. And they make me stressed out either way. But I saw you left me one and you've referred me a stranger and I'm going to give you a discount. Thank you so much.
So you do offer a discount for that?
Yes, I offer a 50% discount for referring me a stranger. And I don't care if you left me a bad review. I don't read them.
That's very
I think
generous.
Across the board, if you've left me a review,
you're in it.
You've reviewed me, you've referred me a stranger.
Another thing you could do too would be add on a service. Like I know my hairstylist, for a review, I got like an additional, deep hydration treatment that's great for post color. You
totally could do. You could get a value added service, right? You totally value add. Most of my clients, because they have been clients for a while, I'm just like, you referred me a stranger, 50% off, man. Yeah. Right? It's cool. I've also done for like a hairdresser or something that I like. I'll be like, hey, I'm going to give you like 5 gift certificates for free services with me. But it's not going to be free. It's going to say that it's worth like the value of my service. If you could gift these to your favorite clients that you think are amazing, that you think would like me, like they talk like they're your best clients that you think would like to have facials, and you're going to gift it to them as if you paid for the service, right? So you're going to look amazing.
Collaboration,
right? You're going to look amazing because they're going to be like, oh my God, she got me a $300 treatment.
Right.
And I'm going to have the opportunity to get a client. Okay? I found that those work.
That's super smart. Well, it's also the know, like, and trust factor, which is something, the online marketing space talks about all the time. So when you get something from somebody you already know and like, you trust the other person more because it came through them.
Right. Also, it has value. Okay? So when people just are like, here, I'm referring you to this person, it has no value.
Well, then you never use it.
Right. It has no value. And even if they come, like, you're not valued. They're like, oh, this, like, my friend says that you're great. Great. I don't fucking want you. You don't understand that I'm not great? I'm fucking amazing. I'm amazing. Okay? I don't want you. I don't want you at all. All right? I need somebody who is my client. And your friend was just like, yeah, no, I think that because they're just trying to get a 50% off discount. So quite frankly, the person who I want is the person who's like, I want somebody different. So referrals in general, those are the referrals I'm looking for. Referring a stranger, though, somebody might find that review who's actually seeking me.
Right, right.
So referring a stranger, the person who literally is giving it to the client that they're like, I love you and I think you're amazing and you're going to be amazing for my person. So those are the referrals I find work best.
Okay. And so another thing to think about would be like an email campaign or something.
Yeah.
Shooting an email to your client list. Like what kind of campaigns have you found to be successful?
The campaigns that I like best are ones that I use around Yelp and Google. I like Yelp and Google. I like referring a stranger. They're my favorite ones. And so what I do is I actually send out ones to my clients to be like, hey, I want you to update a review or I want you to write a review for me, because the algorithms for both Yelp and Google are weird, where they don't want you to have too many reviews at once, and they don't want you to have like they're weird. Algorithms are weird. So you need...
Well, they think if there's too many at once that you're gaming the system.
Right. So, and they want like certain terms and whatever. So, and I know a lot of them. So what I'll do is I'll pick certain clients and I'll send out like 6 clients a month for each, both Google and Yelp. And I'll be like, hi, will you write me a review? Can you please think about using these terms?
But as far as like a blast to your whole list, do you do anything like that? Because so far everything has been really highly specific, which I think is actually very, very good.
Yeah, I don't blast to my whole list.
We did one time and you made a lot of money.
I did for sales of product.
Yeah.
But for referrals.
Right,
specifically for referrals, I never send out to a whole list. For referrals, I would never send to my whole list. Being like, hey, refer me clients.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah. If I was
highly personalized.
It's highly personalized. Same with if I'm trying to get clients back.
Right.
It's still going to be highly personalized. So let's say I was like, hey, I haven't seen these clients for a long time. It would be very catered. Like, I haven't seen these specific facial clients who are micro-channeling clients for the past 6 months. Very specific.
Right.
I haven't seen these hair removal eyebrow clients for 3 months. Very specific.
Right. But outside of like referrals, what about in the general, like this context of the stressful times that it feels like we're in? Like, what are either have you done or are you planning on doing in the next couple months?
So my strategy for the next couple months is I'm actually sending out a card campaign. Physical tangible cards. I'm sending those out to all of my clients. And I do actually have them catered to specific groups of people. So specific groups of people, so that I'll be like, I know that you like this, and I know that you like this, and I know that you like this.
And what are thanks for being a client?
Like, I haven't seen you in a while, but I'd like to see you. And here is a gift certificate for, you to come in and do get an add-on service. I haven't seen you, but you're going to get an add-on service for like a lip treatment, or you get a upgrade of your hydrofacial, stuff like that. I have a new menu. Haven't seen you since I have the new menu, etc. So they're all very like catered. And then I'll probably do a newsletter for people, just like getting out the newsletter, because I'm really bad at newsletters. I don't get them out at all. I'm trying to really get my newsletter out.
Lies you got.
Right.
You got some.
So getting newsletters out more often, shorter ones, very short newsletters.
Yes.
Very short newsletters. And with just information on like, hey, I'm cleaning my office. Do you have any questions? I have this like new cream. This is what it's doing. It's good for you. Just like stuff like that.
We need to do a whole episode about writing an email newsletter, because I have so many thoughts right now. I'm going to keep to myself.
It's going to be up there, man. So just stuff like that, guys. So stuff like that. We should just do a series of them on newsletters, where we just do like a series on just like short.
I think there's I have opinions. I have opinions.
Alex is very good at this. This is what Alex is very good at.
I do agree, short episodes, short emails. But then you still have people who like want to read the whole thing. They want to know how the sausage is made. Like, they want the story.
Isn't that why you have like the website that they go to?
No. They're not going to click it.
There you go. People don't click.
If somebody wants to hear from you, they're going to read your whole thing. But there's different types of people and different types of email.
So I think the most important thing to come away with is that is that it's all about like customer experience now. So much of it is about customer experience. You really need to bring your customer experience bar up so high. So high, guys. And I don't mean like giving them tea. I don't even give my clients tea. I don't have, like, I barely have water.
Like, what do you mean? Oh, tea, real tea.
Like tea. Like, it's not like I give them tea and like, it is about making them feel like they are the only person in your life when they're in this room. And that's however you do it. So if it is tea for you, chocolates on the bed, whatever. Like, I don't give my clients beverages. That's not how I make them feel good. I make them feel good with the experience that they're getting in this office. You need to figure out what your experience is, and you replicate it every time they come in that door. Mm-hmm. Figure out what your experience is, what you offer them, and like make that happen. And if you need help making that experience, ask us. Ask somebody else who you've gone to a spa and been like, I like that experience. Try out spas.
Yeah.
Figure out what your experience is. I shop everywhere to find out what kind of experience I like and don't like. Mm-hmm. Go to all the spas.
Yeah.
Write it off.
Testing. It's totally.
Write it off. We get to. Mm-hmm. And then my last thought on these kind of things is if you're out there and you're a new estate and you're like, I'm going to start a business right now, it's going to be very hard for you. This is right now the hardest year to start a business. I am not saying don't. I'm just saying you're on a hard road. All right. It's not a bad road just because like the first year in business, you don't really make money very often anyways. But understand that if you're sitting there being like, I just started my business and I have no clients. Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard year it's a hard year. It's a hard year. Also, if you're looking to like try out, like bring in a new brand or try a new menu and you're like, I'm bringing in this new giant like $30,000 machine, it can be hard. You might fail. Doesn't mean you're actually failing. It means this year is a hard year. Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you're failing at something right now, it's not your fault per se. It's a hard year to do any of these things.
Yeah.
Okay.
We just got to get through till November, you guys.
Right. And sometimes if you raise that customer experience, sometimes this kind of year is a year to try out things and be like, I failed, but whatever. It's just this year.
Yeah.
Have some whimsy in your life. Be like, I totally did some stuff and it was super cutting edge, but like totally failed and I didn't care.
All right.
Right on.
The queen has spoken.
There you go.
But and I think too we've talked about a lot of stuff. You know, stay tuned or in tune with what's happening. Really elevating the customer care, like you've said, and also just keep blazing your trail with. Also knowing in the back of your head, like, yeah, that this is an exceptionally tough year. And so if it all goes up in flames and smoke, it probably wasn't all your fault.
Right. So I also want to do a small conversation at some point on how to create a recession-proof business, whether it's going to be a full episode or it'll be a minisode. We'll find out. I'm going to make some notes on that. That's the other one I'm making notes on.
Light bulbs. Ding.
Right. So, because that is a whole nother conversation on how to kind of recession-proof your business.
Yeah.
And I know that there's a lot of conversation going on right now in all the places about recession-proofing yourself. And that's a good conversation. But a lot of these things intersect. Okay.
And I think, yeah, client care is so super important. Because, yeah, what is important when your money is tight? It's the people and things and places that make you feel really good.
Yeah, it absolutely is. Because, I mean, I survived a recession. My recession wasn't horrible. I've had strikes that were way worse than recessions. People still saw me during recessions. Strikes were much harder. So, and coronavirus could potentially be harder because it's just it's the scariness. It's when people are afraid. That is what's the hardest, is when people are afraid.
Yeah. So make this be a safe space.
Yeah. Be the place that people want to come. Remember that our industry survived during the Depression.
Ooh.
We were the one industry, the beauty industry was the one industry during the Great Depression, the Dust Bowl, that made money.
I did not know that.
The only industry that made money during the Great Depression, the beauty industry.
That's fascinating.
Right? People still wore makeup, still got their hair done, still got hosiery. You know why? Because people want to look good.
Yeah, that's so true.
Right? So you would just remember that. Take that nugget with you guys. It's a very important one.
Like dust your shoulders off.
Right?
Here
Okay.
we go.
There we are.
So we've asked a bunch of questions this episode, but definitely want to hear what kinds of things are you doing right now in your business to really elevate that client care and try to navigate this time where the media is just screaming like the world is burning and the sky is falling. So send us your questions. You can hit us up on social media. We are at Skinfessional, or you can DM Cybil. She's at Your Skin Fitness Expert, and I am at Hala Famala on Instagram. Or you can call us.
At our box. We have a Skinfessional box.
It's a voicemail, you guys. A voicemail.
818-473-5277. And we'd love to hear from you.
Yes.
Also, if you are also noticing anything within your business already, like if your books are like better, worse, I'd like to know.
Definitely.
Yeah, totally. So until next week,
Keep your secrets to yourself.
unless you're telling us.
Okay, bye.
Bye.